Everyone starts off as a first-time buyer. If you've got a motivated seller who likes you, who believes in you, makes no difference whether you bought 1 or 5 or 10. You should never be thrown by the fact you haven't done it before. It makes no difference. The gratitude they feel for you contacting them to buy the business that's become the millstone around their neck is so immense. They want you to help them solve the problem that they have got. Key points that you want to include in your opening conversation with the owner. Sometimes people want to know what your background is. You need to decide in advance what your background is, because sometimes people have such eclectic CVs, you don't know where to start, and you just dump everything on them. Oh, well, in 1976 I was doing this, and in 1984 I was doing this. No, we don't need the CV. It's not a job interview, okay? So my background is, the answer to that question has to be something that you've already considered to be reasonably relevant to what the owner of the business that you're talking to. It's super easy if you run a plumbing and electrical business and you're talking to the owner of the plumbing and electrical business and you say, I've run a plumbing and electrical business for the last 15 years. That's all we have to say. All we have to say. Now, what happens if you have never owned a business in that sector? You do something like this. You say, before you ask, I have never owned a business in plumbing and electrical. But I have a colleague who has 15 years experience, or I have an associate, or I have a team, or I have a person advising me who's got 15 years experience in that sector. So even though I personally don't have that, I wouldn't be running the business because I would hear all about your amazing team that run the business anyway. And our philosophy is always to make sure those people are engaged and incentivized and motivated to do the best job possible. So what I've done, I've picked it up, I've deflected it, and I've made it very, very clear that in actual fact, it doesn't matter that I don't have a plumbing and electrical business because I'm not going to be the person running the business. If you want to find out how to buy a business successfully, get your free business buying toolkit. The link is in the video description below. What happens if you've never bought a business before? Everyone starts off as a first-time buyer. Okay? If you've got a motivated seller who likes you, who believes in you, that believes that you can follow through, you're not just messing them around, you can actually deliver on a deal, makes no difference whether you bought 1 or 5 or 10. It might to the odd person, but quite frankly, yeah, if you're a motivated seller and you can do a deal and I can get the money that I want and get out of that business that's causing me so much stress because I'm 65 and I want to retire, then quite frankly, whether you've done this before or not is irrelevant. But I would always be very, very upfront if you were asked that direct question. I'd say, no, I haven't. But you know what? I work with a team of people who've done hundreds collectively. And I have got the most amazing advisors. And what I can absolutely assure you is that I'm not one of those people who wastes anyone's time. If I'm not interested in your business, then I will tell you and we'll part as friends. If I am interested in it, then we have a very, very clear and a focused, systemized approach to acquisition that will get you the deal that we agree in about 12 to 16 weeks. How does that sound? And flip it back straight on them, okay? You should never be thrown by the fact you haven't done it before. It makes no difference. You know, talk to any of my inner circle guys who, you'd never done it before, you'd never done it before, you'd never done it before, you'd never done it before. You'd never done it before, but now it's sort of, let's just do another deal, okay? So getting to that point is easier than you think. Let's say you're going to buy a house, all right? And let's say you're taken there typically by the estate agent, aren't you? And the owner of the house is there. Who's bought a house before, a property? Who's bought a property? Like most of you, right? Have you ever been confronted by the owner in the hallway and said, have you ever bought a house before? Well, you never have? Well, no, they don't care, do they? If you can get the mortgage and you've got the deposit and you can do a deal quickly so they can move on, doesn't matter to them, does it? Makes no difference at all. Everyone's a first-time buyer at some point. The gratitude they feel for you contacting them to buy the business that's become the millstone around their neck is so immense. They're open the door and say, come in. You're interested in buying? Sit down. Let me get you a coffee. Because they want to talk to you. They want you to be interested. They want you to help them solve the problem that they have got. Now, the turning the conversation is that flipping that we're going to do, which brings me to your business. Tell me how it all started. Let's talk about your business. Now, if anyone's ever asked an owner to talk about their business, you're smiling. What am I going to say?
They talk about it.
They talk about it. How long do they talk about it?
For ages.
For ages. And you'll have to say, well, look, let's not start back at the beginning. All right? Just tell me about the last few years.
Where are you now?
Where are you now? Yes, let's get the focus on where they are now. What we're going to be doing in this very, very quick intro to ourselves is establishing that we are someone who's worth talking to. Because quite frankly, if you're not worth talking to, they're going to maybe not put the phone down on you, but it's going to be a short conversation. So what we want to establish very, very quickly here is why we're talking to them and so forth. So someone give me a sector, and I'll give you an example. Someone give me a sector. Telecoms. You're probably wondering who I am. I like doing that intro because it stops them from asking me the question, and I've got control right from the start. Let me tell you who I am. Let me tell you who I am. You're probably wondering if I already own a telecoms business or I've been in this sector my entire life. I'll tell you right up front, I'm not. It's a great sector. I've been doing a little bit of research about it online, and I have a colleague who's got some experience in this sector already, and I've got a great team of people who are going to help me put together a deal that would work for you. Now, this is where I can bring into the conversation something that I do have experience of and do have knowledge of, but isn't directly related to telecoms. So what we're doing is we're looking for something in your past. It could be that you have great people skills. It could be that you won some sort of leadership award. It could be that you've run teams within your company if you're employed by someone else and you've been elevated and you've worked your way through the ranks and now you head up a division. And you're looking to leave the corporate rat race in order to fulfill your potential owning a business, which is why I'm talking to you. But all you're looking for are like 2 or 3 quick wins in that conversation so people go, oh, right, okay, that kind of makes sense. It doesn't have to be a perfect fit. It just kind of makes sense. Look, the real reason I'm asking is I don't know who you are. I just want a bit of colour around it. I just want a bit of meat on the bone, if you like. I don't know who you are. Just give me a few things. You will find that everyone has something, a skill, a talent, a piece of experience that can be dragged into this conversation. And then you've got something to talk about. There's nothing worse than being on a first call with an owner and being caught up by this question, and it terrifies you. You don't know what to say, and you feel the whole conversation goes downhill from that moment onwards.